Avena, manzana.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Would like to do a summary of yesterday's lecture.
Okay, summary. We talked about 4 things. The first thing we talked about is the history of alcohol. Yeah, it's fascinating, the history of alcohol. In Estados Unidos, there's something called prohibition. It was to ban the drinking of alcohol and the making of alcohol. And the reason is in 1918, John D. Rockefeller, he controlled the oil business, gasoline in the United States, cities. And while on the farm, the rural area, the farmers all grew alcohol. And the original Model T car, Henry Ford's Model T car, it ran on alcohol or gasoline. It originally ran on alcohol only, but then they changed it to run on gasoline. Rockefeller was in the business of making kerosene from petroleum. And he would distill kerosene from petroleum, but the volatile stuff, the stuff that's explosive, he would throw it away in the rivers at nighttime because nobody wanted a kerosene lamp that would explode. So he said, you know, maybe we can make some money from this explosive waste. This is what we call gasoline or naphtha today. From a barrel of oil, they make valuable things like plastics, fertilizers, all sorts of Vaseline. You know, Vaseline is made of petroleum. These things are much more valuable than gasoline. Gasoline is the junk, okay, the waste that's left over at the end of the day. There's about 400 of these toxic junk. They put it in a reservoir, they call it gasoline, and we pay the privilege of burning their toxic waste in our cars. Wow. One barrel of oil, ¿cuánto cuesta ahora? $100 a hora, okay? You can produce from that 1 barrel of oil products worth around $25,000. Wow. Okay? Or the oil company can give away the gasoline for free if they want to, but they don't want to. So back to Rockefeller.
Volvamos a Rockefeller.
In 1918, he gave $4 million to a bunch of crazy women, a group called the Christian Temperance Movement. What they wanted to do was to ban the drinking of alcohol. That was their purpose in life. Okay? And in 1919, United States Congress passed not just a law, but a constitutional amendment.
Wow.
A change to the Constitution of the United States to ban the drinking and making of alcohol. Okay? And because of that prohibition amendment, it killed the entire alcohol industry throughout America. Hundreds of thousands of farmers lost farms, lost jobs because of that. Okay? And when prohibition was lifted in 1933, 1934 by President Roosevelt, there was no more competition to the gasoline business in America. And the reason was because Rockefeller did not want competition. At that time, in the cities, you're driving a car, you fueled up with gasoline. Okay? When you went to the out of the cities, there was no gasoline stations. So you went to the farms to fill up with alcohol. There was a video last night, a YouTube video that shows the author of this book called Alcohol Can Be a Gas going to Ford headquarters in Detroit. He went there to look at a Model T car from, I think it was made in 1911. And this car has a switch on the dashboard to go from alcohol to gasoline. Okay? Just a switch. Muy fácil.
Muy fácil.
And he also, in the Model T, there's a transmission compression shifter. It's like you shift, because alcohol is 105 octane, it's much more higher power. You can compress it faster, okay? And you can get more power out of it, okay? Cars in the Estados Unidos, that race cars, they run all on alcohol because it's higher compression. And in Brazil, all the cars are specifically designed to run on alcohol. So in 1911, America had a flex fuel vehicle, okay? And this car was even better than today's flex fuel vehicles in the Estados Unidos because it could take advantage of the higher compression of alcohol. Very easy. And the last point, number 4, we'll talk about how to use alcohol in cars today. I'll tell you briefly. Any gasoline car, you can use alcohol right now. If it's old carburetor car, you can use up to 25% with no problem. So 25% alcohol, 75% naphtha. That's bien. With fuel injection car, the modern fuel injection cars, you can use up to 50% without any problems, without any changes, modifications. So prohibition was to kill alcohol in the Estados Unidos. Successful. There's an interesting story during Prohibition. Of course, people did not follow the law. Some people made alcohol illegally. They're called moonshiners. Okay. For the government to find out who those people are during Prohibition, what they would do is they would go to the county fairs and they would look for the fattest cows, the fattest pigs. Okay. The reason is, those farmers, they were the one making alcohol, and the solids that's left over when you make alcohol from the grain, they fed those protein, nutrients, vitamins to their cows, to their pigs, and it gains more weight. That's how they went to. That's how they discovered who was making the moonshine alcohol. So today in the United States, they feed the cows corn. Transgenic corn.
Yeah.
And the cows are not designed to digest starch. Okay? They have a lot of problems, gas problems, stomach problems. It takes 10 kilos of corn to produce 1 kilo of beef in the Estados Unidos. Okay? If they use the corn and turn it into alcohol first, okay? You get alcohol, and you also get this mash, which is all the proteins, vitamins, nutrients. You get about 3.3 kilos of it, okay? If you feed that 3.3 kilos to the same cow, that cow will actually gain 17% more weight, naturally. Because it doesn't have to deal with all the starch, the gas, the diseases. It's a happier cow, it's a fatter cow.